Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report, starting with the ASX200 here. Now, this particular pattern that we're looking at through here, we're either looking at it in a couple of different ways. So we've got wave 3 here, we know that much, and we can have wave 4 here completed, and we can be moving up in terms of 1 and 2 and wave 3 here, wave 4 on this low here, and then we move up into wave 5 here. That's one count, but at the same time we've got a bearish count as well, where we have wave 3 here, an A wave here, a B wave here, and then 5 waves down here for wave C here. So I don't know which one is correct, but so we'll need a bit of a strategy for that. So at this stage, this low here can be wave 1 or wave 4. Okay, as wave 1 here, then we would see a corrective move back into the 50-60% retracement level, and then a move down. As a wave 4 here, we would see this start to climb up through here. So we wouldn't really be able to confirm this move up here unless we move above the 61.8% mark here. At the same time, we need a strategy to accommodate any move up here as well to capture that. So let's just move into the 2-hour chart and just focus on this little move here. So the move coming down through here can be counted in 5 waves in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. But I have to say that the beginning of the structure here has got overlapping wave structures, so that's why it can be corrective, and that's why it can be wave 4 here as well. So we know that the 50 and the 61.8% retracement level is here. Our initial move up here was to look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. I was expecting this to move a little bit higher through here, but it only came to the top here. And it does present itself as a 5-way structure coming down through here. So it's quite possible we can have, if I could just borrow that, have that as wave 1 here, and that as wave 2 here, and and wave 3 here. So it's quite possible that we can move straight down from this point here. I don't think it's the case because the Nasdaq is lifting higher, but at the same time we need to be mindful of that. So I'm just going to move that aside here, but taking this low out here accommodates that low position. The other point here is that this A wave, B wave, and C wave for wave 2 here can also be counted like this here as well. So we can put this up here. I've got a B wave here, so it's possible to be a B wave, but we don't need to go there now. So it's also possible to have this as the A wave here, then 5 waves down for the A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for the B wave, and then we go up to this point here, and then we go to here, and then we fail, and then we move down from that point. Okay, but at the same time, we can also view this as this wave 4 being in place here, and this market moving up through here further. But we won't know that until we, until we can see that perhaps we're sitting on 6,100 here. Okay, and then we're going to look at that. But at the same time, it'd be nice to be long to get, by that point there. So I think really we can just look at being long above this high here and short below this low here. So this is it here just on the hourly chart here. So a nice support on the 6020. Glean your first position here as support, and then glean another one here on top of group 1 here as support here. That would be the long side here. And then on the short side here, of course, this market can fail from here, and then when it moves down through here, it needs to retest there. Once it's retested there, then you can put that there, and if the retest fails and moves down, then you can glean your first position there, and your second position would be on below the 72 here in here. So the 9572 as a retested resistance would be your second position in this area here, and then you can add in the 50 there as well. So I think it's more or less of a strategy. I know that The Nasdaq is, if I can bring the Nasdaq across for a moment, I know that the Nasdaq here is pushing higher and doing well through here, so it's got further to move to the upside here as well. The S&P, for the S&P, we've got a bit of a problem with the S&P, so we've got the S&P in a positive move like this here in terms of 1 and 2 here, but we don't know if this is the actual case here just yet for the S&P, because we also have a bearish count for the S&P too, where it's like this here. So we have an A wave over here, a bit complicated, but an A and a B, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the C wave. So moving up through to here, it may not reach all the way up the top here, can fail here and move down. So if I could rule out this count here, then it would make things a little bit easier. Also, the other situation as well, we can see that on the Asian side here, if we look at the Nifty here, for example, the move down through here, a bit like the Australian market, it counts as 5 waves moving down as well. And then we're looking at it to come back to the 61.8% mark, which it has. And we need to now view it to figure out if this is up for 1 and back for 2 and then moving higher from this point, or if it sinks lower. So we'll use that 500 here as a catalyst. If that becomes the resistance, then we know that this market will also come further down here as well. So if we just have a quick little look at that on the inside here, so we know that any move, I mean, it looks like that's the 5 waves down through here, and this is an A and a B and a C wave here. And if it takes that top out, we can go along from that point. This move down here has got a bit tricky to see here. If I just go on to maybe an hourly chart, so the move down through here, we see it's got 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So really, we can look at this as an A and a B and a C wave here, and then it can move up from here. But it can also be 1 and 2 and 3 here, an A and a B and a C for 4, and then down for 5 here. And if we do get that 5 waves there, then we'll get an A and a B and a C back up, and then we'll move down from that point there as well. So I need this to play. I need to gather more evidence. I need to see this roll out further. It's not like we're going to miss anything here either. You know, we just need to know where we stand with this 10,500 here. So we'll get a bounce off here, and then we'll look at that. We can look for the short trace here. So the Indian market is looking rather bearish at this particular stage, but I can't confirm that just yet. So we need to wait for more evidence. The Nikkei is much the same as well. The move down through here, though, in this case here, it looks more like it's in an ABC pattern rather than 5 waves. So I want to see how it finishes up in its box here at the 61.8% mark to gather some more evidence here. So, you know, we can count the 5 waves going up through here. Okay, we've sort of been through all that there, so we kind of know where we are here. I just need to see how this is going to play, but I can say that in this from this little move through here, we've got wave 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we're going to make another high here. So I'm not that concerned. I need that to play out here as well, and then pick up the thread from here. So I don't know if this is wave 1 and 2 here, and then 3 here and 4 here and then 5 here. But we'll know that once it unfolds further, but we can expect it to make new highs here, but it still doesn't give us any answers as such, because this down here does count as an A and a B and a C, and it can be a wave 4 here if I've made a mistake somewhere, but I just really want to see, just gather more evidence on this one. The China market is more bullish because a couple of reasons. So let's just go over this. We're looking at this wave 3 here, and we're looking at an A and a B, and then 5 waves down for a C wave. It took us a little while to work through this pattern here, and we had 2 counts, but I think we did all the right things. Now this little wave 5 down through here is rather small, but that's okay because the extension was in wave 3 here. So that means if the extension's in wave 3, it means that wave 1 here and wave 5 will be roughly the same length. Now, we had a bit of a concern that that this market could be just 5 waves down to here, coming back to the 61.8% mark here at 12,500, and then moving down here, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. But that's not, doesn't look like the case now, because we're powered up through the 61.8%. I mean, the 61%, 62% basically is not, it's a bit of a holy grail, but it's not the end and be end of all. So we know that the market's moved up above the 500, but will it find support there? That's the thing. So, but it does appear to be a little bit bullish. I'll just go into the 4-hour chart here. So these are our last 5 waves down. And then we can look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So even though it's moved past the 61.8%, we still have, at this stage here, we have possible A, B, and C wave. I can see that's got a little bit higher to go here. So it can go to there and it can fail from that point. Or it can just move back to a wave 4 here. I'm just going to move that. And this is how we'll catch it. Then wave 5 here. And then there'll be an A and a B and a C. And that will come in from these tops here. At the 12.8, we know 8's a profit-taking number, so we can look to buy the pullback in here, because then we'll know that we've got 5 waves here. So I have to say, China is looking bullish. I think that we've got a low in for China. Okay, even if this wave 4 gets more complicated here, one way we can view this is that. So, I mean, even if this wave 4 got more complicated, like all this was just down for the A wave, and then we come back for the B wave here, and then down to C, we've still got all this to move up from here once we can confirm this little space in here. Okay, so it's good. It's good. So this also brings us over to the Hang Seng as well, here on the daily chart. And I have taken a bit of liberty here as well, in that looking at this as the A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here. That doesn't count very well at all, and I know that people could throw eggs at me for that, but I have to sort of line it up with China a little bit as well, because we've got that little 5 waves here, exactly what we had in China as well. But I also know that we've been working through a bit of a triangle pattern with all of this as well. So this is excuse me here, still getting over that flu. It just seems to be lingering on. So here, this is a possible pattern here where we've got wave 3 here, an A wave here, and then the triangle pattern, an A and a B and a C and a D and an E wave here. But I don't have any evidence of this being an E wave yet. It would have to be in 3 waves, and I don't have that yet. And this D wave doesn't even count very nicely either as a D wave. So what we'll do here is we'll do the same thing as well, even though that you may be long here from talks before, is that this move up here will be the same as China. So we'll have wave 1 and 2 here, and wave 3 and 4, and then up for 5 here. So we can expect this to come into this space here roughly, and then we'll see some sort of pullback here. So it's this pullback here that we can look to move into in various ways, just something like that anyway. So no point in going long here now, because it's just going to top here, and then you're going to be holding something. So you're just going to end up with a whole lot of anxiety if you're buying at the top of the 3rd wave there. So yeah, that's it. So we don't have the Australian market sort of figured out yet, but we just need to work with strategy and just sort of chip away at it until we know for sure what pattern that we're actually in. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.